Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 12th annual #See Arthritis event video series being conducted at this year's Canadian Rheumatology Association and Arthritis Health Professions Association annual scientific meeting, as it always is. My name is Cheryl Cohen. I am the president of Arthritis Consumer Experts, and this series is being broadcast on the Arthritis Broadcast Network. We could not be any happier to sit again here with Dr. Ahmad Zbib. Welcome to the studio, Dr. Zbib.
Thank you, Cheryl. It's always an honor.
Yeah, well, it's just such a pleasure, and we're so excited for the start of this year's program. Let me first tell the audience a little bit about you, a little bit about the program. So, for our audience, Dr. Ahmad Zbib is the Chief Executive Officer at the Canadian Rheumatology Association. He holds a Global Executive MBA in Healthcare and the Life Sciences from the Rotman School of Management. He's a strong interest, certification, and many years of experience in digital health. Ahmad uses his understanding of the Canadian healthcare system, his medical knowledge, and strong technical, business, and executive skills to transform organizations to realize their full potential. In other words, he's a pretty busy doc, leading a whole team of docs across Canada, and representing, I think, rheumatology in just an elite way. So welcome again to the program, Dr. Zbib.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's always an
We
honor. Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic, and we always feel like we get the first bird's eye view of the meeting from you during these interviews. So, for our audience, this program, #See Arthritis, is an event run every year concurrent to this annual scientific meeting, and we're so blessed to be allowed the opportunity to sit with very astute, experienced docs, people like Dr. Zbib and all of his colleagues who are members of the arthritis community, of part of his organization, as well as the Arthritis Health Professions Association. And what we do is take what's being presented at the meeting. So you're getting the science as it breaks. And we're so grateful for the opportunity to be able to sit with your members, Dr. Zbib, in order to do that. People with arthritis, as you well know, crave information and knowledge as it happens. And you allowing us this opportunity to be sort of tangentially part of your meeting is a real honor. So we're going to just dive in now and ask you a few questions, first about yourself. So situate yourself in arthritis for our audience. What's your day job, Dr. Zbib?
Yeah. So if you think about the arthritis, it's a bunch of intersecting circles. So for those who did arithmetic in school, if you remember those belonging circles,
Yeah.
CRA is really about the physician's perspective. So as an organization, our role is to create opportunities and an environment for our members who are practicing physicians and researchers in the world of rheumatology to bring their best version forward, to be always on the leading edge and also be knowledgeable in terms of what are the best practices and making sure that also they have a rewarding career along the way.
Yeah, it's without that, and you're also infusing, to the degree that you can, sort of patient experience, patient
Always.
voices in the work that you
Yeah.
do, which is, I have to say, Dr. Zbib, when I've been around in the community a long time, it wasn't always that way. So major kudos to you, because I know that's been a real focus for you during your tenure at what we lovingly call the CRA, the Canadian Rheumatology Association. Tell us, what can our audience and your members who are going to take in this science themselves and learn from each other, what can we expect from this year's meeting, and what are you personally looking forward to the most?
Yeah, it's shaping up to be, excuse me, it's shaping up to be a significantly larger conference than some of the last few years. So I think we're getting close to what we were pre-pandemic.
Right.
Unfortunately, we have to measure our life with pre and post-pandemic these days. But it's the highest since the pandemic happened. I think the move towards April has been very welcomed by a lot of people. Halifax is a city that is very welcoming as well. Um, Obviously, the science keeps on getting better and better. We have an amazing annual scientific meeting committee that recruits speakers from Canada and from around the globe. So there's going to be a lot of great science, a lot of practical workshops. We have a conference that also brings people from not just from the medical perspective, so it's for the larger community. Um, I expect great science, great connections, some incredible abstracts and research. Lots of students and trainees are going to be there. So it's just all the way you look at it, no matter where you look at it from, it's going to be an awesome experience. I'm really
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
yeah, thank you for that. It's amazing. I have to say, it is one of my favorite meetings of the year. And I'll tell you, it's the trainee piece. It's these young people mingling with sage, experienced rheumatologists and nurse practitioners, physiotherapists. It's that melange of expertise and craving for knowledge that is so exciting in the hallways of the meeting. Um, Tell us what you feel are the key kind of messages from this year's meeting. Put yourself in, I live with rheumatoid arthritis, have for many years. Put yourself in my shoes for a moment and think, what do you think people like me might really enjoy or learn from in terms of this meeting? What are some of the key messages you, as the chief executive officer, want to give to people with arthritis?
Yeah, I think it's always got to be a message of hope that we're getting closer towards a cure. We know we don't have a single cure for a single form of arthritis. We have great medications that work for a lot of people, but sometimes it doesn't. So it's just a renewal of hope, and it's a great, venue where great minds come together. And this is where I always say the science is always great. The meetings, the workshops are always awesome, but the magic happens at the coffee table
Yeah,
when two potential scientists come together and they come up with this next big project that's going to get funded and then move on to bring in some major breakthrough. So there's what we want to achieve in terms of declared science and workshop and satisfaction and all of that, and then those unforeseen positive outcomes that almost always happen.
yeah.
And then, hey, let's not forget the gala and all the fun that we have at the gala as well.
Yeah, the dancing is always illuminating for sure. You find
Yeah.
out that the good, bad, and the ugly at the dance floor, don't you? It's interesting. You talk about these informal conversations that happen at the coffee table at the meeting. And one of the reasons we created this program, Dr. Zbib, was to give kind of a peek into that world for people like me across the country, to actually show them how hard your community works to deal with our problems day to day and long term. So I hope we're able to achieve that again this year. When we talk about forward looking, which is really what this conference is always about. Yes, you're presenting current state science, but it's always with the view to, cure, as you say. That's the ultimate prize, isn't it? The theme of this year's meeting, I love it, particularly in that it's situated on the East Coast, shifting tides, embracing change in rheumatology, and celebrating the evolving landscape of it. Give us some insight into that theme. How did it come about, Dr. Zabib? Besides the fact that we're going to be in Halifax and the tide does shift there, tell us how that fits into the rheumatology world.
Yeah, I mean, there's a sort of a superficial decision behind how we choose.
Sure.
We kind of said, it's in Halifax or tides. There's also informed by world events and whatnot. And I mean, we need to be current in terms of what we're presenting. But it's also we feel that we are at the cusp of major breakthroughs, and we're talking about understanding the immunity better. We're talking about programming immune cells to not just arrest the diseases but also reverse it. We're seeing with certain technologies that recently been the last few years been introduced. In some cases, I'd say especially for lupus and some other diseases where there's been complete remission for a few years.
Yeah.
So, and I think we need to always be ready for what's coming next. And it's not just for the patient, but also for the provider, because the role is going to evolve, and they need to upgrade not just their understanding, but also the role in terms of where do they play it, and who are the key players that are going to be involved in. I think that's sort of a visionary perspective in terms of how the theme was selected. I can't take any credit for that. That was the annual scientific meeting
Oh, go
people.
ahead. No one's going to know. You could take credit for it. That's amazing. I think it's always that view of promise that is so uplifting when you go to the meeting. It's not it's just always energizing. And I think that as a person with arthritis, but someone who also works in the community and helps translate the science presented and to get it out in lay language to people who can use it. It's always that energy keeps me going for months. So looking forward to seeing the program roll out under this lovely theme that does have a number of different sub themes in it. You talk about these breakthroughs. Are there any other insights, Dr. Zabib, that you can give people living with arthritis when you think about the profession? I mean, your job is to worry about the profession every day and to make sure the people in it stay healthy and whole and positive and giving them challenges to reach for so that they do better for people like me. I mean, that's how the ecosystem really works. So when you reflect back and look forward as well, what do you think you would say, or what would you say to people with arthritis who, no matter how good things are, we still have to advocate for ourselves? No matter how much people are working on our behalf, we also have to work on our behalf. So, what kind of things can we do to be a part of rheumatology?
Yeah, I think the best thing you can do is always showing up and always be your best advocate. You have to keep in mind that the system is one of my favorite statements is the system is currently designed to deliver current results. And the only way for us to change that is by starting to tweak those levers and those cogwheels. And each one of us is one of those cogwheels. And so by showing up, by always advocating for yourself is very important. From our perspective is how can we empower the physician to really focus on what matters most? Because we live in a world where the physician is genuinely administratively burdened with
Yeah,
so many things, and the physician wants to deliver the best care, and they want to be the healers, and they want to give you the attention and look in your eyes when they're talking to you. But it's just with EMRs and paperwork and pre-approvals and all sort of these things, they do get in the way. So
yeah,
that's what we've been focusing on from a professional perspective. Like we had an AI scribe partnership with two vendors that we introduced, and we've been doing some training session with our members, many of which they just love it because they feel like, oh, finally I can spend more time with the patient.
right.
So just keep that in mind that when you're interacting with your physician, that there are so many other things that are pulling on their attention. So you always have to show up and always
Yeah.
have to be presenting your case. You own that.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And I think, more and more people are moving away from, do as you're told as a patient. You need to be an active participant in your care. And I must say, as a patient for who's been in the system for a long time, rheumatologists are just so exceptional. They spend more time with their patients than probably any physician in the system. And this administrative burden certainly is evident to me as a patient. I can see it every day when I go, or every time I
Mhm.
go into their office. So I think what you're kind of saying is we need to meet together and we need to understand each other's challenges, even though
Absolutely.
we're the ones living with a chronic and at the moment incurable disease or diseases. We still have to understand we can bring something. I love your comment,
Absolutely.
showing up. So
Yeah.
we need to show up with our full
It's a
selves.
partnership.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a partnership. I love that. I'm so happy that we're a partner in your big, beautiful world of rheumatology, Dr. Zabib. And we're so grateful that you've taken time at the start of the meeting to sit with us. We wish you just the very, very best. I cannot wait to bump into all of your colleagues and as well my colleagues in the hallways and exchange ideas and roll up our sleeves and do some good work. So thank you again. Thanks to everyone at the Canadian Rheumatology Association head office who makes our life really easy and helps promote some of the things that we're doing. So many, many thanks to you and your team.
Well, thank you, and for your team as well for your
Yeah.
continued advocacy.
Yeah, thank you so much. And to our audience, we thank you for sitting in on the first of the hashtag C Arthritis event episodes. We look forward to airing many more as the few days of the meeting carry on. Thanks, and we'll see you very soon.